Humans are indeed one marvelous curiosity. When they're on the very best, there's a kind of a low-grade nickel-blamed angel. You know, being on the worst? Despicable, unbelievable, and unforgivable. But by all means and all times, there are a sarcasm. And in all means, all sincerity, they call themselves the noblest wise work of gods or nature. I will be so harsh as the true, as uncompromisable as justice. On this subject, I will not wish to speak in moderation. In the end, we will see that I was right. Is it so hard for humans to choose compassion, decency and kindness over cruelty? How to farm humans? Indoctrinate them from a young age with lies and propaganda. Let them feel good about themselves. By any means necessary. Not tell them the truth. Instead, tell them fairy tales. Mold them to your hands. Let them believe they're being smart. By any means necessary. Even if it costs the sanity of their society. Because they can handle truth. Or can we? This is most likely the mindset of your government. They please the ego with deceitful public relations. How pollute and dilute the real meanings of words and the real way of thinking of the population. Corrupt them. Let them feel they're special. In reality, there be so much of them that they're not can be considered special. And also because, in contrary with most popular opinions, human life is not more special than the life of any other creature on the world. For one example, without pollinators, this world we know plants grow. There need pollination. Without most kind of bacteria, organisms on this planet, like mammals, reptilians, cannot digest their minerals because a lot of bacteria actually need it to digest the minerals and vitamins. The human body, for an example, have around something like 700 to 1000 kinds of bacteria. And the rate of bacteria on human cells is around something like 1 human cell on 1.3 bacteria cells. That means if you have a weight from around something like 70 kilos, that means that you have around something like 40 trillion bacteria and 30 trillion human cells. Can you see it now? We've been living in a world where anybody have germ phobia, bacteria phobia, and been afraid for anything that have a chance to hurt them. But we live also in a culture that eat animal products, have been the main cause of many cancers, diabetes, osteoporosis, and a lot of other far Western diseases. What is your excuse for causing the least amount of harm possible on this planet? I know most men, we're afraid that if women get the equal rights in society, they were afraid that their life become very less, and therefore they fight against it. Just like that with blacks. Whites were afraid that in some kind of weird way, if blacks get equal rights in society, that their life becomes fueled last. Just like carnists that be afraid that if animals get their equal stand in society, it be not watched anymore like inanimate objects, or that their life being followed last. Humans. Take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, nothing the victim. Silence encouraged the tormentor, not the tormented. The greatest people in history have always stand on the side of the oppressed and defend the weakest party instead of the oppressor's party. Stand on the right side of history. Animals don't want to be your victim. Humanity's main focus have always to be extending some simple decency and compassion to this world, instead of playing lip service to all the injustice of the world. Can we stop making excuses to harm them, and instead make excuses to love all innocent living beings, and respect nature in its beauty, and live in harmony with the 3 laws of equality? The first law is there is a limited in grow finite resources. Second, all species being interdependent on each other, with some others will not survive. And last, there is a limited in carrying quality, and that means limited in humans before become overpopulation. Most animals seem to know these laws and live by it. Humans are the ones that's actually constant break them. How can the oppressor ask for anything when they're not being even willing to admit their crimes or the wrongs of their actions? It's just like if a dirty lawyer with a rapist client blame the raped victim from the rape. How can somebody that have not even remorse for their action claim to another that he's guilty of something similar? That's pretty insane, is it not? Humans. Awaken. Humanity's main focus have to be always to extending compassion and decency to innocence, instead of supporting might make right militant elitist primitive mindsets. For the people that then say some stupid thing like veganism is too expensive. Since when is a bunch of rice or potatoes or tomatoes, corn more expensive than meat, cheese and eggs? Did you actually that get the expensive shit? And if all the subsidies go away from the meat, dairy and egg industry, well, it's around something 50, at least 50% of all the food subsidies go to the meat, dairy and egg industry. In America, it is even 80%. Just because they're subsidizing the hell out of it, and that's the reason that it is not extremely expensive. It is estimated that a hamburger will cost in a society that not support diabetes, cancer, starvation, and might make right. That hamburger will cost around something $50. 50. Not 15, 50. Will cost. If you have some big America monster burger. Humans. Awaken. Awaken. It's time that you adopt one biocentric point of view. That we stop watching anything from human perception. And that we, instead of that, try to see things from one earth perception. If we want to claim that we be smart, if we want to claim that we be intelligent, then we have to learn to extend our compassion, decency, and morality to all living beings, and not some groups that we privilege more than another. Then we have to consider all innocent beings, no matter if they be small, large, braids, braids, if they're being hairy or naked, or they're being with scales, or have a skin. If they have a complex constructed nervous system, or one uncomplex nervous system, a simple nervous system. Peace, compassion, decency begins on the dinner table by what you eat on a daily basis. You don't pray for peace and compassion and kindness and then hypocritical final things. It's not how the world works, man. It's not how the world works. Good people do something to oppose hatred, oppression, elitism. What good is in this world is activism, where good people stand up for what we right and say enough is enough. You have crossed the lines and come in action and oppose the beasts. Try to eliminate the monsters that been all come from the great evil mind of the most evil genius on this planet, the two-legged one. Compassion, kindness, decency, there's all choice for any living being. Any creature can choose to be kind, compassionate, or brutal and savage. It's all a choice. So, I don't understand why you choose violence when you can choose kindness. There is no nobility in protecting violent traditions, beliefs, and habits. So is there also not one nobility in protecting victimizers like rapists, KKK members, Ku Klux Klan people, yes, Ku Klux Klan and that is KKK, or neo-Nazis, or slaughterhouse workers, or hunters, or other despicable people on this planet. The victims are the only ones that need your voice. We have to stop the cancer by its root, instead of cutting the tree of evil and make its branches grow even more robust. Understand you? Awake. When darkness and light become one, the reality splinter away and the truth become visible. Humans are indeed one marvelous curiosity. When they're on the very, very best, there's a kind of a low-grade, nickel-blamed angel. You know, being on the worst? Despicable, unbelievable, and unforgivable. but by all means and all the times, there are a sarcasm. And in all means, almost sincerity, they call themselves the noblest wise work of gods or nature.